Hi, I'm Coach Janice Washington with the Greensboro Groove, and this is On the Record. The last 2 weeks has certainly been a slump. We have been working really hard to really and truly figure out combinations that work together, players that have good chemistry together, and just trying to find that dynamic to be able to sustain the momentum points that we do find in the games. Yeah, so we've definitely had some new additions to our roster. Jalen Brown, Sasha Washington, Christine Iwala, Nasira Pryor, and also now Sydney Shaw. And so the biggest thing when dealing with various injuries to players and bringing new players in is just to really truly get them comfortable as quickly as possible, setting up packages for those players so that when they are in the games, we can provide some options for them to run some things that they are comfortable with as opposed to giving them the entire playbook. Yeah, I do believe that our new players are stepping into some new roles as well as players that are now getting more playing time out there on the court. And so being able to step into a position and fulfill a role that's much needed is something that all of these young people as professionals need to do. And so we're just looking for more consistency in that area as they continue to grow with us. I think throughout the month of June, Sahara Jones has really been a beast. She's had several games with double-doubles. She's active. We've typically got her matched up on either one of the best perimeter players or the best low block player. Like, she does a really good job defensively, but also is just high motor and just bringing and giving us everything that she has night in and night out. I think she's growing into a leadership role. I think Sahara has been someone that's kind of trying to feel and navigate where she fits into what it is that we're doing. And over the course of June, she's been able to kind of find her spots and find a niche for herself where she's excelled. The biggest thing that we're trying to cultivate in the locker room is just improved communications, both on and off the court, but also a sense of just staying together and sticking it out and continuing the fight. In almost all of these games, we have had moments where we have cut into the lead and got it down to 10. But as everyone knows, working to get yourself back into a game expends a lot of energy. And so just trying to remind them of staying in the fight, but also making sure we don't put ourselves in that position early on in the game so that, once we get into the second half and the fourth quarter, we are ready to just continue to withstand the runs that the other teams go on, but also extend our own runs. Yeah, the keys to success are just going to be consistency for 40 minutes, being able to score the ball in the 20s each quarter. There have been certainly a lot of pinpoint moments in time where we can look at the stat sheets and see, we're with a team in 3 quarters, and 1 quarter we may only have 11 points, which is really, really tough to overcome when another team is scoring 24 and in a single quarter you're, underwater by about 13 points. And so being able to consistently score the ball and being able to consistently defend and not give up 30 points in a quarter is also something that we talk about as we move forward. And then just working to build that chemistry as we are, navigating the circumstances that we're in with the roster changes. We also have to build chemistry and also be able to build trust. There's definitely a lot of things we learned in the last series with Savannah that we'll take with us moving forward. We need to be able to flow a little bit better offensively, both body movement and ball movement, and then also playing a little bit more up-tempo, making sure that we're getting up more shots. We've been in the 60s in terms of field goal attempts, and so being able to get upwards to 75, 80-something shots a game is somewhere where we need to be able to kind of stay in the fight. But then also limit their opportunities right at the rim in terms of and ones, and not allowing them to just constantly live on the free throw line. One of those games they shot over 30 free throws, and so we need to ensure that we're doing a better job defensively of not allowing that to happen. The biggest thing is just weathering the storm. Teams are going to have moments where it's a slump, not necessarily to this extent, but weathering the storm, and how do we manage the personalities in the locker room and set them up for success on the court. And so those are the coaches' conversations, and just making sure that the players are staying positive with each other, because they also see that we're just, it's a couple of possessions here or there, one run here or there, and that's, the turning point of the game. We're currently not in a terrible position. We're 2 games out of second place. And being able to play a Savannah team that we are familiar with is something that's going to be really good for the players, especially the new players as well, because it's the most recent team. So we don't have to teach them, a whole new team. And so they are familiar with Savannah. They are familiar what Savannah does well as the points that we can exploit against Savannah. But also just knowing that we're the only team in the league that still has multiple victories against Jacksonville, who is extending out their lead for first place. And so, 2 games out of second with the opportunity to tie Savannah and be right back in the mix is something that we're looking at.